Hello students, now let's start our new chapter, chapter 10, Flow of Control. The main concept you are going to learn in this chapter, statements, control statements, iteration statements and jump statements. So first let us see what are statements. A computer program is a set of statements or instructions to perform a specific task. These statements are intended to perform specific action. So, computer program is a set of statements or instructions that are used to perform a specific task. There are two kinds of statements used in C++. What are they? Null statement, compound statement. Null statement and compound statement. What about null statement? Null means what? Empty. So, null statement is also called as empty statements. This statement containing only a semicolon. Okay, only a semicolon. It is called as null statement. And what about compound statement? C++ allows a group of statements enclosed by a pair of curly braces. The group of statements is called as compound statements, or you can call it as block. Block of statements is also called as what? Compound statements. See here three statements are given. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. These statements are enclosed within the curly braces. These are called compound statement. Okay. Next topic is control statements. What are control statements? Control statements are statements that alter the sequence of flow of instructions, which means these control statements may be executed sequentially, selectively or iteratively. If your statements are executed sequentially, which means one by one, that is called sequential statements. In some situations, if the statements alter the flow of execution like branching, iteration, jumping and so on, these are called control flow statements. So there are three types of control statements. What are they? Sequential statements, selection statements and looping statements, which is also called as iterative statements. Let us discuss them one by one. So first let us see about sequential statements. The sequential statement are the statements that are executed one after another only once from top to bottom. Okay. These statements do not alter the flow of execution. These statements always end with semicolon. Okay. This type of statements are called sequential flow statements. See here, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. The sequential statements are executed one by one from top to bottom. Okay. So, first statement 1 will be executed, after that statement 2 will be executed, after that statement 3 will be executed. Okay. This is about sequential statements. Next let us see about selection statements. The selection statements executed depend upon the condition, which means one condition will be given. If a condition is true, then true block will be executed. Otherwise, false block will be executed. It is also called as decision making statements because it helps in making decision about which set of statements are to be executed. Okay. Let's see this flow chart. One condition is given. If this condition is true, then this block of statements will be executed. If that condition is false, this block statements will be executed. Okay. If you want to jump one part of your program to another part of your program, you can use this selection statements. Okay. There are many decision making statements are there. If else and switch. Let us discuss them one by one. First let us see about if statement. The if statement evaluates a condition. If the condition is true, then true block will be executed. Otherwise, the true block is not executed. Okay. So, here one condition will be given and true block statements also given. You have to check that condition. If that condition is true, then true block statements will be executed. If that condition is false, nothing happens. Okay. Let us see this program. We are going to check whether the given age is eligible for voting or not. Okay. Here you have to enter the age. Int age. Age is the integer value. So data type is int and age is the variable. Cout enter your age. You have to enter your age. Next check this if condition. If age is greater than or equal to 18, you have to check your age. You are entering your age is 23. So age is equal to what? 23. So check this condition. 23 is greater than or equal to 18. 23 is greater than 18. So this condition is true. If that condition is true, then you have to execute the block of statements. What is the block of statements? See here, Cout, you are eligible for voting. Okay. So it will be printed on the output screen. You are eligible for voting. Next statement is, this statement is always executed. This also will be printed on the output screen. Here the pair of curly braces is not required because if condition followed by only one statement. So you no need to give curly braces here. Okay. So this is the output. Next statement is if-else statement. In if-else statement, one condition will be given. You have to evaluate that condition. It returns either true or false. If that condition is true, then true block statements will be executed. If that condition is false, then false block statements will be executed. Okay, let us see one program. This is the program to find the given number is odd or even. Okay. So two variables are given, num, remainder. These are integer values. You have to enter a number. You are entering the number 10. See here, one expression is given. Remainder is equal to num modulus 2. Modulus means what? Remainder value. Okay. So you have to divide the number by 2. Take the remainder value. That is the answer. Okay. So num value is what? 10. 10 divided by 2 is what? Quotient 5 and remainder what? 0. Okay. So remainder value is 0. Now check the condition. If remainder is equal to 0. If remainder value is equal to 0 means this condition is true. If the remainder value is not equal to 0 means this condition is false. Here remainder is equal to 0 is given. So remainder value is what? 0. 0 is equal to 0. This condition is true. So if that condition is true, then you have to check the true block statements. These statements. Okay. What is that? The given number is even. Here the condition is true. So the given number is even will be printed on the output screen. The given number is what? 10. The given number 10 is even. This is the output. But if condition is false, you have to execute this else part. Okay. Which means the given number is odd. Okay. So this is the output. Next statement is nested if. What do you mean by nested if? An if statement which contains another if statement is called nested if. Okay. One if statement is defined within another if statement is called nested if. See here, this is if statement. This if statement contains another if statement within it. Here you have to evaluate this expression first, expression 1. If that expression is true, then another one expression is given, expression 2. You have to evaluate that expression. If that expression is also true, then execute true part statements. If this expression 2 is evaluated to false, then you have to execute the else part. Okay, this else part, false part statements. But if this expression 1 is evaluated to false, you have to skip these parts. You have to execute this else part. Okay, body of else part. See this example. Here two integer type variables are given, sales, commission. One character type variable is given, grade. We have to enter the sales amount. Okay. So you are entering the amount 6,000. Okay. After that, enter the grade. You are entering the grade A. In this program, you have to find out the commission value. Okay. So now check the condition. If sales is greater than 5,000, the sales amount value is what? 6,000. So compare these values. 6,000 is greater than 5,000. This is true or not? True. 6,000 is greater than 5,000. This condition is true. If this condition is true, then you have to execute this block statements. Okay. Commission is equal to sales into 0.10, which means sales value is what? 6,000. 6,000 into 0.10 is what? 600. Okay. So commission is 600. Here you have to skip this else part because this condition is true. So if this condition is true, you have to execute this true block statements. Okay. You have to skip this else part. After that, see out good job. It will be printed on the output screen. This is the output. Next, the alternative to if else. The conditional operator is also called as alternative to if else operator. You can call it as ternary operator. Okay. Conditional operator is also called as ternary operator. It consisting of two symbols, question mark and colon symbol. Okay. The combination of these two symbols are called conditional operator. Okay. It has three arguments. First you have to write the expression, next question mark, next expression 2, next colon, next expression 3. So first you have to check the condition first. Okay. Expression 1, this is the condition. You have to evaluate this condition. If that condition is true, then this expression 2 will be executed. Okay. If that condition is false, then expression 3 will be executed. Okay. So this expression 1 is a condition. You have to check this condition. If that condition is true, then you have to execute this expression 2. If that condition is false, then you have to execute expression 3. Okay. See this example. This is the program to finding largest two numbers. Okay. So here int a, b largest. Three variables are given. What are they? A, b largest. You have to enter the values. You are entering the values 1298. Okay. 1298. So A is equal to 12, B is equal to 98. Next, the conditional operator is given. See here. Largest is equal to A is greater than B, question mark, next A colon B. Here largest is a variable. Next A is greater than B is the expression, which means condition. You have to check this condition. If that condition is true, then you have to print the value of A. If that condition is false, then you have to print the value of B. Okay. So here, what is the value of A? 12. What is the value of B? 98. So check this condition. 12 is greater than 98. 12 is not greater than 98. But here given 12 is greater than 98. So this condition is false. If this condition is false, then what will you do? You have to print the value of B. What is the value of B? 98. Okay. So see out largest number is equal to largest. Okay. So largest value is what now? 98. Okay. 98 will be stored in the largest variable. Okay. So largest number is equal to 98 will be printed on the output screen. This is the output. Next statement is switch statement. The switch statement is a multi-way branch statement. So the switch statement is also called as branching statement. Okay. This switch statement replaces multiple if-else sequence. It provides easy way to dispatch execution to different parts of code based on the value of expression. Okay. Here one condition will be given and multiple options are given. Okay. You can select only one option based on the expression. Okay. If none of the matches are found, then the default statement will be executed. Let's see one example. This is the program to printing weekday. First, int number. Num is a variable. It is declared as int data type. Next, enter a weekday number. You have to enter the numbers from 1 to 7. Okay, weekday number. Next, num is given. This is the condition num. 7 cases are given. Case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, case 6, case 7. So, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next, another one statement is also given. Default statement. That is wrong input. Okay. So, you are entering the weekday number 6. Okay. So, all the cases will be checked one by one. Okay. First, case 1 will be checked, not matched. Next, case 2, not matched. Next, case 3, not matched. Case 4, not matched. Case 5, not matched. Case 6, it is matched. Okay. So, Friday will be printed on the output screen. Okay. If you are giving the num value is above 8, which means 8 or 9 or 10, then this all the 7 cases will not be executed. Default case will be executed, that is wrong input will be printed on the output screen. Okay. So this is about selection statements. Next, let us see about iteration statements. Iteration statements is also called as looping statements. Okay. Looping means the sequence of one or more statements that are repeatedly executed until the condition is satisfied. Here one condition will be given and a sequence of one or more statements also given. That statements are repeatedly executed until that condition is satisfied. Okay. These statements are also called as control flow statements. It is used to reduce the length of code, to reduce time to execute program and takes less memory space. Because you no need to write the same statements again and again. Just write the statements once, then execute that statements repeatedly based on the condition. Okay. Parts of loop. These looping statements have 4 elements. These elements are initialization expression, test expression, update expression, the body of the loop. So there are 4 elements are there. What are they? Initialization, test expression, update expression, the body of loop. So first you have to initialize the variable. Next you have to check the condition, test the condition. If that condition is true, then you have to execute the body of the loop. After that, update the value of control variable. Okay. So these are important steps. Okay. There are 3 types of iteration statements. What are they? For statements, while statement, do while statement. Okay. This is very important topic. Okay. So C++ supports 3 types of iteration statements. What are they? For statement, while statement and do while statement. So first let us see about for loop. The for loop is also called as entry controlled loop. And it is the easiest looping statement which allows code to be executed repeatedly. It contains 3 different statements: initialization, test expression and update expression. See here, initialization, test expression, update expression. These are separated by semicolons. Okay. So these 3 statements are written within the for loop. After that, the body of the statements, which means statement 1, statement 2 and so on. These statements will be written between the curly braces. Okay. This is the syntax of for loop. Let us see one program. This is C++ program to sum the numbers from 1 to 10 using for loop. Okay. So here first initialization is given, int I, sum is equal to 0. So I is the variable, sum is also variable. The 0 is initialized to the sum variable. Next see the for loop. This I is the control variable. This is the initialization. This is the condition. This is the update expression. So initial value of I is 1, next semicolon, next I is less than or equal to 10, this is the condition. Next update the value by 1, which means I plus plus, this is the update expression, okay, which means update the value of control variable, okay, I. So first I value is what? 1. Check the condition, 1 is less than or equal to 10, 1 is less than or equal to 10. This is true or not? 1 is less than 10. This is true. This condition is true. If this condition is true, then you have to execute the body section, which means sum is equal to sum plus I. What is the value of sum? 0. Okay. So sum is equal to 0 plus I value is what? 1. So 0 plus 1 is what? 1. So this 1 will be stored in the variable sum. Next what? Update the value of control variable. So control variable value is what? 1. Update the value. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So now I value is what? 2. Again check the condition. 2 is less than or equal to 10. 2 is less than 10. So this condition is also true. Now you have to execute the body section, that is sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is what? 1. I value is what? 2. So 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Now the 3 value is stored in the variable sum. Okay. Next again update the value. So I value is what? 2. 2 plus plus, which means 2 plus 1, that is 3. Now I value is what? 3. Check the condition. 3 is less than or equal to 10. 3 is less than 10. This is true. This condition is true. So execute the body section, that is sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is what? 3. I value is what? 3. So sum is equal to 3 plus 3 is what? 6. Now the 6 value is stored in the variable sum, and update the value of control variable I. So I plus plus means 3 plus plus, that is 4. Now again check the condition. 4 is less than or equal to 10. 4 is less than 10. So this condition also true. So execute the body section. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is 6. I value is 4. So 6 plus 4 is what? 10. So 10 will be stored in the variable sum. Okay. Again update the variable. So 4 plus plus is equal to what? 4 plus 1, that is 5. Now I value is 5. Check the condition. 5 is less than or equal to 10. 5 is less than 10. So this condition also true. So execute the body section. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is what? 10. I value is what? 5. So 10 plus 5 is equal to what? 15. So 15 will be stored in the variable sum. Again update the value of control variable I. 5 plus plus, which means 5 plus 1, that is 6. Now I value is 6. Check the condition. I is less than or equal to 10. That means 6 is less than or equal to 10. 6 is less than 10. This condition also true. So execute the body section. That is sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is what? 15. I value is what? 6. 15 plus 6 is what? 21. So 21 will be stored in the variable sum. Next again update the value of control variable I. So 6 plus plus means 7. Now I value is 7. 7 is less than or equal to 10. This condition is true because 7 is less than 10. So execute the body section, that is sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is 21. I value is 7. So sum plus I means 21 plus 7, that is 28. 28 will be stored in the variable sum. Again update the value of control variable I. So 7 plus plus means 8. Now I value is 8. Check the condition. 8 is less than or equal to 10. 8 is less than 10. So this condition also true. So execute the body section. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is 28 and I value is 8. 28 plus 8 is equal to 36. So 36 will be stored in the variable sum. Again update the value of I. That is 8 plus plus, which means 9. Now I value is 9. Check the condition. 9 is less than or equal to 10. 9 is less than 10. This condition also true. So you have to execute the body section. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is 36. I value is 9. So sum is equal to sum plus I means 36 plus 9 is equal to 45. 45 will be stored in the variable sum. Again update the value of control variable. 9 plus plus, that is 10. Now I value is 10. Check the condition I is less than or equal to 10, which means 10 is less than or equal to 10. 10 is not less than 10, but 10 is equal to 10. So this condition also true. So you have to execute the body section. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum value is 45. I value is 10. So sum is equal to sum plus I means 45 plus 10, that is 55. So 55 will be stored in the variable sum. Again update the control variable value. 10 plus plus, that is 11. Check the condition. 11 is less than or equal to 10. 11 is not less than 10. 11 is not equal to 10. So here the condition becomes false. Here you have to stop your execution. Okay. So output is the sum of 1 to 10 is, you have to print the value of sum. What is the value of sum? 55. So the sum of 1 to 10 is 55 will be printed on the output screen. This is the output. Okay. So this is about for loop. Okay. Next loop is while loop. This while loop is also called as entry controlled loop. It is similar to for loop. Okay. Because in for loop and while loop, the condition will be comes at the beginning of the loop. Okay. You have to check the condition first, then you have to execute the body of the loop. So it is also called as entry check loop. Its syntax is while, next within the parenthesis you have to write the condition, and next curly braces body of the loop, which means block of statements. Okay. Here you have to first initialize the variable, next you have to check the condition. If that condition is true, then you have to execute the body of the statements. After that, update the value of control variable. This is the same program. We have already discussed about this program in for loop. Here I is equal to 1, sum is equal to 0 is given. Next while, within the parenthesis condition is given, I is less than or equal to 10. And next, this is the body section, sum is equal to sum plus I. Next, update the control variable, which means I plus plus. In for loop, initialization, which means I is equal to 1, condition, which means I is less than or equal to 10, and update the expression, which means I plus plus. These three things will be given within the for loop. Body of the statements will be given within the curly braces. But here, initialization of control variable is given here, condition is given within the while loop, and next within the curly braces body of the loop is given, and update the expression also given. Okay. Here the initial value of I is 1, the initial value of sum is equal to 0. You have to check the condition I is less than or equal to 10. If this condition is true, then you have to execute the statement sum is equal to sum plus I. After that, update the value of control variable I plus plus. Again check the condition. Do the same process until the while loop condition becomes false. Once the condition becomes false, you have to stop your execution. Okay. So this is the output. Next loop is do while loop. Do while loop is also called as exit control loop, which means here you have to execute the body of loop first. After that, check the condition. Okay. The condition will be comes at the end of the loop. So it is called as exit controlled loop. Okay. So in do while loop, the condition is evaluated at the bottom of the loop after executing the body of loop. Hence it is called as exit check loop. This means that the body of loop is executed at least once, even when the condition evaluates false during the first iteration. Okay. See here, this is the syntax. Do within the curly braces write the body of loop, and next while condition is given at the end of the loop. Okay. After that, write the semicolon here. Okay. This is the syntax. Let us see one program. C++ program to display the number from 10 to 1 using do while loop. Okay. Here we are going to print the numbers from 10 to 1 using do while loop. Here n is the variable, integer type variable. The number is stored in the n variable 10. So n is equal to 10. That is the initial value. because you're going to print the numbers from 10 to 1. From 10 to 1, which means initial value is what? 10. Okay. So n is equal to 10. Next, do within the curly braces, write the body of the statements. So see out n, which means write the value of n. Okay. So what is the value of n? 10. So 10 will be printed on the output screen. Next, comma, it will be printed on the output screen. Next, n minus minus. So you have to decrease the value by 1. Okay. N plus plus means what? You have to update the value by 1. Add the value by 1. Okay. But n minus minus means subtract the value of control variable n by 1. Okay. N value is what? 10. So 10 minus minus means 10 minus 1, that is 9. Okay. Now check the condition. 9 is greater than 0. 9 is greater than 0 means true or not? True. 9 is greater than 0. So this condition is true. Here, if this condition is false, you have to stop your execution here. Okay. So now you have only one output, that is 10. Okay. But here this condition is true. So you have to continue your execution until this condition becomes false. Okay. So now n value is what? 9. Again execute the statements. See out n. N value is what? 9. 9 will be printed like this. And next comma. Comma also printed like this. Next n minus minus means 9 minus minus, that is 8. So now check the condition. 8 is greater than 0. This is also true. So now n value is what? 8. So see out n comma means 8 comma. Next n minus minus means what? 8 minus minus, that is 7. So now check the condition. 7 is greater than 0. 7 is greater than 0. This condition is true. So you have to continue your execution. So now n value is 7. So see out n comma means 7 comma. And n minus minus means 7 minus minus, that is 6. Check the condition. 6 is greater than 0. This is true. So see out n comma is equal to 6 comma. And n minus minus means 6 minus minus, that is 5. Now check the condition. 5 is greater than 0. This is true. So again see out n comma, that is 5 comma. It will be printed on the output screen. Next 5 minus minus, that is 4. Again check the condition. 4 is greater than 0. This is true. Again print see out n comma, that is 4 comma. It will be printed on the output screen. Next 4 minus minus, that is 3. Check the condition. 3 is greater than 0. This is true. So again execute the statement. N comma, that is 3 comma. And n minus minus means 3 minus minus, that is 2. Again check the condition. 2 is greater than 0. This is also true. Again execute the statement. N comma, that is 2 comma. N minus minus means 2 minus minus, that is 1. So again check the condition. 1 is greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. So this condition also true. Again execute the statements. That is n. N means what? 1. Again n minus minus, that is 1 minus minus 0. Check the condition. 0 is greater than 0. 0 is greater than 0. This is true or false? False. 0 is equal to 0, not greater than 0. So here the condition becomes false. Here you have to stop your execution. Okay. So this is the output. So this is about looping statements. Okay. Next let us see about jump statements. Jump statements are used to interrupt the normal flow of program. So jump statements are used to interrupt the normal flow of program. There are 3 types of jump statements. What are they? Go to statements, break statement, continue statement. Okay. Let us discuss them one by one. First let us see about go to statement. The go to statement is a control statement which is used to transfer the control from one place to another place without any condition in a program. So it is used to transfer the control from one place to another place without any condition in a program. That is called go to statement. Next, break statement. A break statement is a jump statement which terminates the execution of loop and the control is transferred to resume normal execution after the body of loop. So break statement is used to terminate the execution of the loop. Okay, it is used to terminate the execution of the loop, and the control is transferred to resume the normal execution after the body of the loop. And what is continue statement? It is similar to break statement, but instead of terminating the loop, the continue statement forces the loop to continue and execute the next iteration. Okay, so break statement is used to terminate the loop, but continue statement forces the loop to continue or execute the next iteration. Okay, that is the use of continue statement. See, let us see the difference between break and continue statements. Break statement is used to terminate the execution of the loop, but continue statement is not used to terminate the execution of the loop. Break statement breaks the iteration, but continue statement skip the iteration. Okay, which means break statement terminates the loop, but continue statement forces the loop to continue and execute the next iteration. When the break statement is executed, the control will come out from the loop and execute the statement immediate after the loop. When the continue statement is executed, it will not come out of the loop but moves to the next iteration of the loop. Break statement is used with loops as well as switch case. Continue statement is only used in loops, it is not used in switch case. Okay, so this is the difference between break and continue statements. I hope you understand. Thank you, students.